Dancing with the Stars full recap. Robert Irwin strips down and tears are shed as TikTok night ends with shocking elimination. Dancing with the Stars TikTok night ended with a bang. The third episode of season 34 of the reality dance competition show, airing Tuesday, September 30th, was TikTok night. The couples performed dances including the cha-cha, foxtrot, jazz, salsa, samba, tango and quickstep to songs that have dominated TikTok. 12 couples remained in the competition after last week's double elimination, during which Corey Feldman and pro partner Jenna Johnson along with Baron Davis and pro Britt Stewart were sent home. Hilaria Baldwin, Danielle Fishel, Alex Earle, Andy Richter, Elaine Hendricks, Jordan Childs, Dylan Efron, Scott Hoying, Robert Irwin, Lauren Jauregui, Jen Affleck and Whitney Levitt were the stars remaining. The evening was full of drama and excitement, including one particularly spicy moment when Robert ripped off his shirt mid-dance and several stars earning their highest scores of the season. There were also plenty of tears shed, and that was before the night ended with a shocking elimination. Keep reading for a full recap from week 3 of season 34 of Dancing with the Stars. A shocking elimination ends the night. Kicking off the elimination, Alfonso revealed that the first 5 couples safe were Jordan and Ezra, Jen and Jan, Whitney and Mark, Robert and Whitney, and Hilaria and Gleb. Julianne followed, announcing that the next batch of safe couples were Alex and Val, Scott and Riley, Dylan and Daniela, and Danielle and Pasha. This left the bottom 3 as Andy and Emma, Lauren and Brandon, and Elaine and Alan. It was then revealed that Lauren and Brandon were being sent home, leaving the audience audibly shocked by the results. When asked by Julianne how she was feeling, Lauren smiled and simply said, "Pissed." She also praised Brandon and said she was grateful to have him as partner. Julianne Hough pokes fun at Robert's shirtless moment. Co-host Julianne Hough couldn't resist having a little fun with her reaction after Robert took off his shirt. During the show, she posted an Instagram meme, featuring a photo of her standing beside the wildlife conservationist with her eyes wide, looking off to the side. Over her body, she wrote, "Me," and on Robert's body, she wrote, "My afternoon snack." Alex Earle closes out TikTok night. Alex Earle was happy that she and partner Val Schmerkovsky killed the jive last week, but was even more excited about TikTok night, crediting the platform for helping launch her career. During rehearsals, Val called in choreographer Molly Long and 2 other dancers to help them nail the routine to "Pop Music" by M/Robin Scott. "I hope I do it justice and do it as perfect as I can," Alex said. After their dance, Derek said she glided across that floor effortlessly, but advised her to focus on her shoulders and back to ensure the technique was carried out properly. Bruno said it was a sparkling performance and thanked her for incorporating the steps that were required. Carrie and declared the routine her best dance yet. Later, Alex told Julianne in the skybox of growing on TikTok, "I had such big unrealistic goals and somehow they came true," before earning her best score of the season. Robert Irwin heats up the ballroom, and bears it all. The wildlife conservationist and Whitney Carson entered this week with a sense of confidence after landing at the top of the leaderboard last week, and because Robert had the most followers out of all the celebrities this season at 9.1 million. Before rehearsals, Robert introduced Whitney to his world as they interacted with an alligator. Then, it was time to take the ballroom floor. They danced a salsa to "Million Dollar Baby" by Tommy Richman, which included a spicy moment where Robert ripped his shirt off to show off his chiseled physique. As expected, the crowd erupted into screams when he stripped down. Afterwards, Carrie and joked how Robert is all grown up and kept her feedback positive about it being a great dance. Derek called Robert strong, assertive, and a great partner, but said it was rigid and stiff for a salsa. Bruno also called it a wonderful performance, but noted that Derek was absolutely right, and they cannot let people get away with missed technique because of how competitive this season is. Andy Richter brings the charm, and the hosier yell. Andy Richter was thrilled that he and partner Emma Slater made it through elimination last week, saying he felt all this love and comparing it to a giant Valentine from the sky. He then set his sights on this week's routine, a foxtrot to "Northern Attitude" by Hosier and Noah Kahan. I'm not known for my swan-like abilities, but I'm not ready to go home, Andy declared. His routine was full of joy, as the song suggests, and the judges made sure to comment on it. Love is in the air and it's all because of you, Bruno said, noting that Andy is difficult to resist because of his charm. He also commended him for improving the amount of content in the dance. Carrie Ann agreed that people love you and complimented Andy on giving his heart to viewers and being willing to learn to dance. We do have a little more ways to go, but I really love watching you, she said. Derek added that being in the room was a beautiful moment and told Andy that he felt his heart throughout the routine. Before receiving their scores, Emma and Andy returned upstairs and were greeted by their cheering co-stars. As they chanted his name, Emma broke down in tears and later said she was just grateful to be partnered with the comedian. Ilaria Baldwin makes her mark. Ilaria Baldwin and Gleb Savchenko celebrated making it through double elimination last week, but Ilaria admitted it was really scary, especially she loved dancing with Gleb and didn't want the journey to end. For this week's challenge, she said she was new to TikTok but had already gone viral with an audio clip from a prior interview that featured her saying, "When I'm talking, you're not talking." As the two rehearsed, Ilaria struggled to master the samba routine and its demands after she previously broke her hip and felt the lasting effects. Despite that, the two delivered an upbeat performance to "Shake It to the Max, Fly" by Molly, Shensia, Skillabang and Silent Addy. Afterwards, Derek said Ilaria was in a league of your own as he praised their dance for being rhythmic. He also said they had the most beautiful samba rolls we've ever seen on this show. Bruno praised the pairing as well, saying, "All the content was there. Sharp. You hit every beat almost with clinical precision." However, he noted that Ilaria lacked some bounce in her routine. Carrie Ann offered some mixed feedback, saying that Len would have loved that samba and Ilaria is a sensational dancer, but noted that her musicality was off. Ilaria later got teary-eyed as she spoke about the impact of Carrie Ann's belief in her dancing abilities. She also had a support system in the audience too, as cameras showed her husband Alec Baldwin, their kids and friend Kris Jenner sitting together. Scott Hoying steps into his element. Pro Riley Arnold was excited that she and Scott Hoying improved in scores and didn't decline, but was determined to do better this week. Scott was particularly excited and focused because they were dancing to "Like Jenny" by Jenny, a song that he performed at his wedding for his husband, Mark Manio, and the routine later went viral online. "It's a really beautiful thing to see the acceptance of that video," Scott said, reflecting on his upbringing and the challenges he faced as a gay man. He also vowed to bring the love of that wedding dance to the ballroom on TikTok night. Following their dance, Carrie Ann let out a scream and declared, "That was your element, you are in your element." Derek said he had one word, red, for red hot. He also praised Scott for the way he shined in that routine, while Bruno agreed and said the pentatonic singer was on fire tonight. Before receiving his scores, Scott said this was his favorite dance, and explained how he really felt like he could break out in this routine after becoming more comfortable on the ballroom floor. Whitney Levitt embraces the power of TikTok. After earning another 8 last week, and this time, it wasn't an accident. Whitney declared, she was thrilled to enter TikTok Week with partner Mark Ballas. "I never thought me making these videos would lead to me being here today," the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives star told Mark of competing on DWTS. Despite dancing on TikTok for a living, Whitney struggled to master the technique of the samba during rehearsals, saying it has been a lot harder than I thought. However, she vowed to continue her streak of being on top of the leaderboard. The two then took the dance floor, dancing to "Shake Ya Ass" by Mystical. Bruno was thrilled by their samba routine, telling the pair afterwards, "It's so hard to get, and you got it." Carrie Ann echoed how difficult the samba is to learn and said, "You never wobbled once. You ate that dance up." Derek was on the same page, admitting that he was speechless after the dance. He called it mesmerizing, and added that her performance quality is off the charts. With their score of a 24-30, they tied for the highest score of the season and the top of the night's leaderboard, right beside to Jordan and Ezra. Elaine Hendricks gets redemption for Meredith Blake. Coming off a week where she earned her highest score yet, Elaine Hendricks was thrilled to return to rehearsals with partner Alan Burson, especially because her Parent Trap character, Meredith Blake, is currently making a redemption on TikTok, and she'd get to play into that for this week's routine. While learning the tango, Elaine said the movements felt foreign, but she was determined to do it as smoothly as the pros do it. She and Alan then performed their dance to Gnarly by Cat's Eye. Derek called Elaine badass after the routine and noted how the actress is such a performer. However, he advised her to keep a wider frame and keep it consistent. Bruno praised her for getting the character right, and said she was strong and delivered. He also offered some feedback about keeping her top half consistent. Carrie Ann declared it incredible and powerful, but insisted that Elaine was being too independent. I still feel a little bit of a fighting, she added, urging Elaine to trust your partner. Elaine later told Julianne Hough that learning the tango in 1 week was very difficult but emphasized how proud of herself she was. 54 years old and I just did that, she said. Dylan Efron is a believer. Reflecting on the week prior, Dylan Efron said he was proud of how he and partner Daniela Karagak competed. He then learned he was dancing a foxtrot to Yukon by Justin Bieber, who Dylan happens to be good friends with. He makes people feel comfortable being vulnerable, and my experience on this show is a vulnerable moment for me, Dylan explained of his famous pal. The Traitors star was also determined to go out there and be dominant this week, despite how powerful Daniela is as a dancer. And he did just that. Following the routine, Carrie Ann commended Dylan on the fact that he is a beginner, but really learning the technique of ballroom dancing. She also called him an amazing student. Derek stood up and called the routine smooth as silk, before noting how impressed he was with Dylan's control in the dance. That was exceptional, he said, declaring Dylan a leading man in the competition. Bruno echoed Derek's comments, saying, "That's what we want."